Hello, welcome back to another episode of With Meg. Today I am here with the one, the only Emily Lovell. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I was planning on being like, hello, Emily. Do you know what that's from?
No, but
Do
I
you
just know
remember?
my parents are Pommy.
Yeah, that's because your mum always says Emily, and so I always say Emily. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm nervous, but it's like weird being nervous because we're literally just having a conversation, but I'm like, there's all these lights and a camera
and microphones.
Yeah.
Are your Birkenstocks going to be in this review?
Oh,
no, that's good.
As long as my
Look at the
feet
state
are,
of
that's
them.
all. That's hard work right there.
So for those of you listening that don't know Emily, Emily is one of my best friends. I definitely couldn't have gotten to where I am today without her support. You've literally supported me since day one of my PT career when you made me those cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? The Zebka Fit cookies?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been an integral part of my journey, and you are on your own professional and personal journey as well. So do you want to do a little like bio intro who you are?
Sure.
ASL from MSN ASL.
Yeah, mine was smelly sausage _5.
Your MSN name.
That was my that's
Your
my email. It still is actually.
Wait. Smelly sausage.
Yeah, my friend made it for me, and like at the time I thought it was cool, and now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, that's not cool. I'm not sure why I went with that.
What part of you thought that was cool? Well, mine was Hillary _Duff_lover_01.
Oh, that's a lot.
And lover was LUVA.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah, perfect.
But anyway, who are you?
Okay, so I don't even know really where to start. That we're best friends. And I'm a school teacher. I am a mum.
High school teacher?
Yes, high school. I'm a mum of two beautiful little boys, Bailey and Miles. Bailey is 5. Miles is 1. I have a wonderful husband. I think we both can relate on the husband front that we have very supportive, beautiful husbands and couldn't do half the stuff that we do without them.
Shout out to them.
Brody. And we have just recently started a kindness movement. So
How long has it been?
I think it'll be a year that we've launched the journal in July.
Oh, yeah,
So I
true.
think, just anyway, it hasn't been a year since the launch yet. I think like maybe the Instagram page when we started that, it's been a year.
Oh, wow.
But yeah.
So what were you guys doing? So the I Am Kind movement.
Yeah.
What were you doing before you launched it properly?
It was just at school. Like it was just,
that's right.
we call it the kindness movement in school. And then when we wanted to put it out in the community, we changed it to the I Am Kind movement.
Yes.
And so that's what I'm doing. And it sounds like not much, but when I think about it, there's a lot. There's
Absolutely.
a lot happening, which, yeah.
Yes. I'm sure we'll get into this like in a lot more detail as well, but I'm keen to have a chat because a lot of the girls listening are mums, and I feel like they're going to resonate so much with things that you say in terms of like organization and structure and making sure that you don't lose sight of what you want to do and things like that as well. But so it started off in schools, and so that was when I came and did that little workshop.
Workshop.
And so you work at a secondary school in Brisbane or north of Brisbane, and
Thanks
it was
for polishing that little turd there. Yep.
Caboolture. Wait, is it Caboolture?
Yes. Beautiful if you've never been.
Wait, actually, it's growing out. Hey, like, is it actually getting better?
I don't know if it's getting better, but it's just so handy.
Yes.
Like there's always bad parts of everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you ask my brother, Caboolture, you can't go through without locking your doors, but I've never been broken into. So
touch wood. Touch wood. So I Am Kind movement. So the kindness movement started when you were doing it just for the school, and it was just for the senior girls.
No, for anyone. So it's just a not even a program. It's just, we have different, what's the word that I'm looking for? We have different like cultural activities or extracurricular activities at school, groups, like there's like Minecraft groups, there's like singing groups, there's dancing, there's all these different ones. And then we just introduced the kindness movement as like a lunchtime activity.
Yeah. So it's optional.
Yeah, optional, just come at lunchtime. It all was like inspired by the Resilience Project. I read the book and then all of a sudden was like, oh, we need to do something in school. Started with gratitude. Then we started doing acts of kindness. And then that's where the I Am Kind movement came from, because we found a need for self-love and then people actually living with purpose. So, and the kids being able to practice these things often, because that's where we found the shortfall was, that sometimes when you asked a kid what they were grateful for, they couldn't even answer you, or I don't know. And you're thinking, come on, like have a think about the things that you have in your life and all that sort of stuff. So that's where that started. And then, we were creating resources and little booklets each term that focused on like gratitude or random acts of kindness. And then we're like, let's just make a journal and share it with the world.
And so they're your pillars within the journal. Yeah. And so obviously it's a optional program for the kids to get involved in. Did you find that worked well, or do you think it would have worked better if it was like a curriculum-based program type thing? Or is it better that they buy into it themselves? And
so I've been like having these conversations, probably something that we'll talk about anyway, but I've been having some thoughts about it lately because I think it's something that has to be authentic and it has to be natural. And although we very much want to be in schools and we want it to be, you can call it a program, but it's not a program. It has to be natural. It has to, we have to teach our kids these things and we have to role model and we have to do it with them. Yeah. But if you sit them down in a classroom and give them a lesson plan about, being kind or being grateful and all that sort of stuff, like I said, I absolutely love the Resilience Project. Everything that Hugh does, I'm the biggest fan. But what I'm finding is that the kids don't buy in because they just think it's another lesson and they don't take it seriously because they literally think, oh, I've got to sit here and I've got to do this. And it's like,
it's just like maths.
Yeah, like that stuff's got to come naturally. We got to get outside, we got to play sport. And then we throw a conversation out. And, I've spoken to you many times about what I want my future to look like and how I see all of this working. But I just think it's got to come authentically. It just can't be. Yeah. But also we very much want to be in schools. So what that looks like, I'm not sure.
And so is there anything in the curriculum for the school that you work with, Cath Ed? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there anything like this out there? Or?
No. And that's probably one of the biggest epiphanies that I'm having at the moment is that, and I'm sure any school teachers or parents or anyone out there listening, like education needs to change. It needs a massive shake up. And well-being is a buzzword as far as I'm concerned, and how much we actually invest into our kids' well-being. Yeah. I think that there can be more. I think there's a lot more things that we can do. And obviously I'm just one little person, but you have these conversations with staff and parents and they all say, oh, wow, like how good would that be? But then like, is it
so
ever
what is the
past?
Roadblock?
The education system. I just don't think that, and I could be wrong. I'm just a school teacher, I'm down the bottom. I don't know what I'm talking about really. But as far as I'm concerned, like how we say that the kids' well-being is our number one priority, but they're still stuck in a classroom with 4 walls for 60 minutes each lesson. This is what they need to do. And that's not changing. Yeah. And it doesn't look like it's gonna. Yeah. So I don't know.
And so things like people, like the kids' attention span, like obviously I'm on a different end of it to you because I don't have kids and I'm not around them every day anyway. But from what I hear, attention spans are low and it's hard to, get them engaged in stuff. So that old school way of being in the classroom for that much time and stuff like wouldn't be working anyway.
And like it doesn't work for me. Like, you know what I'm like, my mind works at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Yeah. And, we can say ADHD, whatever it is. Yeah. I can't sit for 60 minutes and be invested in something, especially if I'm not interested in it. Yes. So when we're trying to teach our kids about things that they know that they're not going to take anywhere apart from these 4 walls with them, it's really hard to keep them there. Yeah. So, and there's fantastic teachers out there and again, I'll draw back to education. They're fantastic teachers because the kids connect with them. Yeah. The teachers care about their well-being. The teachers know that that's the priority because if you don't have a relationship and you can't have those conversations, you can't teach them. So, if you already have a kid that doesn't care about maths, they don't care about what's in front of them and then they have a really bad relationship with you, you're getting zeros and then you're just worrying about their behavior the whole time.
Yeah, so, yeah. I feel like that was definitely me in maths. I hated my maths teacher.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe that's why I'm so shit at it now. Let's blame him.
I was telling Ellie the other day, I'm not teaching the class that I had this term and I said to him, oh, guys, I'm really sorry. Like today's my last lesson with you. And this little beautiful little girl at the front goes, yes. And I went, oh, okay, like tell me how you really feel. These kids don't hold back, especially the year 7s. They're so honest. And she was like, oh, no, I just hate maths. And I was like, oh, here's the reality. You still got to do maths. It's just not with me. And then she's like, oh, like fully did not understand that like not having me, she still had to do maths. So that was pretty funny.
And so IAmKind movement as it is right now started off in the schools, and so now it's turned into a huge community program. So you've launched a journal, which is and also you do it with Ellie. We should mention Ellie.
Yeah.
Ellie, we could not pay Ellie enough to come and sit in a situation.
I reckon she's nervous now knowing I'm here
talking about it. We literally could offer her $1 million a minute and she wouldn't.
Not a chance.
That's so funny. Which is so funny because when I've been at your events or like you guys have got like doing content and stuff, you cannot tell that she's nervous at all. No. Must just be such an internal thing.
Yeah. That's what I always say to her. I was like, can I have your poker face?
Yeah.
And to get through it, because like you can see my nerves. I like show my nerves. I talk really fast. I sweat. I go red for like 5 minutes and then I'm like, we're here. Let's get on with it.
Yeah.
But you know, we all work to our strengths, don't we? And that's the best thing about the movement and why it does work and why it's so successful.
Yeah, you bounce off each other so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've got the journal, which is like the main component of the movement because it goes back to all the pillars. So it's
self-love, gratitude, acts of kindness, purpose, and reflection.
Yeah, nice. And so then what are you doing in the community at the moment?
Yeah, so we are a little bit quiet and this is, you know, we knew that was going to happen given that we are both back at work. So I've just gone back to work. I'm working 3 days. So in terms of what
Ellie's a teacher too.
Yes. Yeah. And she's full-time. She doesn't get to hang out like I do.
On a Friday at midday.
Hey, I'm on holiday. She's on holidays too.
Oh, yeah.
So at the moment what we're trying to do is we're trying to do things in the background that we don't have to put all of the work into, as in they don't have to be like one day events. They're like consistent. So we're both massive fans of Ned Brockman. So last year, thankfully to him starting his Ned's Uncomfortable Challenge, we made a really good connection with a local shelter in our area and provided meals to them. And what we really wanted to do was continue that. Like it can't be a one-off, a 10-day thing. Like these people need support all the time. So what we did is we just did a call out on our Instagram page and asked if anyone would like to make 5 to 10 meals once a month, jump on a roster in a rotation. We created a group chat and now we've had like 200 meals every month going out to the shelter. And it's huge because for anyone that knows about places like that, usually the people that work there are volunteers.
Yeah.
Sad reality is that some of them are coming from that experience. They're in that experience or something worse and that's what they need to do to survive or, you know, get what they need to get. So taking away that pressure for them has been huge because we walk in there, the smiles on their faces, oh, you're back again, oh, you're back again, whether it's like me or Elle or just the people that are making the food. So then not only like do we get to experience it, but now other people do. Now they're making meals with their kids and their kids are asking questions and their kids are asking, can we do this again?
Amazing.
And it's just effect. That domino. Yeah, it's so nice.
That's so nice. Yep. And so what do you want to say what you guys did for Ned's last year?
Yeah, so last year we ran 10 kilometres a day for 10 days. Yeah. Ellie ran with a 10 kilo weight vest.
Yeah.
I ran beside her where she just carried me the whole way. That would have been better. It was tough.
Yeah.
Like, and you would know, like, it was tough. And I think the hard thing is for people that exercise and, you know, look after their health and their fitness, people can often see like, oh, well, you already do that. So like, that's not really hard. But it was tough.
Well, how long would it take you for 10Ks? An hour. Yeah. So it's an hour a day for such a long period of time. You're sore, you're tired. You guys did like 3 a.m. runs, didn't you?
Because we were trying to get them done before work because we just knew that like, you know, whatever the day brings to you, afternoon training sucks. I hate it. But like, so we were getting up at 3 a.m. But again, bringing back to the movement and what it's all about, it's about connection. And what we found from that is that we made new friends that wanted to get up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and that were crazy enough to do it. We just talked the whole way. Yeah. You found out so much about what people were going through and what was happening, and that's what Ned's trying to do, right? Yes. It's not, you know, the homelessness is the main thing, but the goal is that we treat everyone the same regardless of their circumstance. So, that was cool.
Yeah, and build that community. I remember when you did one of the runs down the waterfront and you met those boys that were doing it and they've just been out.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, and they were like 19 and they were like, I walked over and I thought, oh my God, they stink like alcohol. And they were doing 16 kilometers. So we were only doing 10 and they were doing 16. And they were like, yeah, would you believe that we just came from a night out? And I was like, by the stench that's coming off you? Absolutely. But I thought, oh my God, like I could not.
Right. Yeah. But when you were 19, you probably could literally do anything. And so are you doing it again this year?
Yeah. So we're going to do it again this year. We've got something really awesome lined up. I don't know the physical side of things. I'm old. Hit 33 and all of a sudden your hips don't work. So my hip is in and out of not being good. So I don't know what my physical challenge will be, but our, I guess, community based, because that's what we tried to do. So Ned's was obviously all about raising money for Mobilise.
Yeah.
Which we did that. I think we ended up raising about $8,000 to support that, which was, again,
insane.
Thanks to everyone that supports that. But we want to do a fundraiser for the Caboolture Community Action Group.
Yes.
So just the other day, we connected with Grilled in Burpengary. No. So because obviously like Grilled were a massive sponsor of Ned. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll just reach out to one of our local ones and see if they can help. So I asked them if they could donate some burgers just to the community, just for some food. Absolutely. So we've been in back and forth for about a month trying to get it organised, trying to find a day, blah, blah, blah. And then the cyclone hit. It was meant to be around then. Then cyclone came. So then we pushed it back. Anyway, Grilled Burpengary donated 50 burgers the other day to the group. So we dropped them off, gave them out to the community. Like just, the smiles on their faces for something so simple was huge. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do your local matters. You know how you put the things, the coins. Bottle top. Yeah. So we're going to do that and they're going to be one of the local matters groups. Aww. And then the money that you raise goes to whoever wins the local matters, however many coins get in, goes to the group. But we can also hold a fundraiser at the same time. So we're actually going to like organise a big fundraiser. Everyone come down, get dinner, buy a burger. Yeah, have like a big night, invite community members, from all walks of life to come and be a part of that day. Yeah. And then whatever money we raise will go back to the local shelter. So
that's so good. Good on you guys. Thanks. And I feel like that like what we just said, that ripple effect, like I feel like people in other community areas are going to see you doing this and see the impact that it has, and it flows on to them as well. So that's so good. And so what do you think the physical thing is going to be? Or you don't know yet? I don't know. Like I genuinely can't tell. Like we haven't even spoken about, like I'd probably say she'll run a half marathon every day, but we'll see. She'll probably say no, accepted. But yeah, she will. But for me, I don't know. Like we did the burpee challenge at the beginning of the year and like that was so tough, but I was like, I really enjoyed that because that's what I like to do. Like I love doing burpees. How many did you do? So, the weekend before I was supposed to, I did 520. And then the weekend that we did it, which was the next weekend, I don't know, it was with Brody and it was for an hour and that's right.
It was so hard. Yeah. But it was so hard, but also, I really enjoyed that. So I don't know. I thought about doing like, burpee broad jumps or like walking lunges but I really want whatever the number or distance of it to be to something to relate to, whether it's homelessness in the world or in our community. Because
like
that's what we're always trying to come back. There's all the big businesses and organizations and that out there. And we want to, one of the big things that we say to ourselves is like, we need to look after our own backyard first. Yeah. So whatever we can do there. So that'd be fun.
That's so good. Yeah. You must feel so proud. Like,
it is. And
do you stop and think?
Yeah. And we do. Like even just the other day, Elle texted me and said like, God, I can't believe how much we've done and how many people are involved now in the messages that we get from people. And, we're a bit like you and we're always chasing that next, what's next. Yeah. Which probably leads me to ending this term at work and having this really big realization where I'm like, why is my brain working in overdrive? Why am I? And it's, I'm just trying to do too much. And it's like, I wanted to ask you the same thing. Like when you said about how busy you are and then this weekend you've got hit games and you're going down the coast and and I just think like, how do you do it?
I don't know. It's just my life. I know. It's just the way that I live my life. Yeah. I don't like sitting around and not that people sit around and do nothing. Like I understand that rest is productive and things like that, but I rest in other ways, like I have moments every single day of the weekday where I'm doing things for myself. That's rest to me. But I don't know. It's just life. Like,
and I guess like for me this year was all about my family and I'm getting really stuck in that spending time like with my family and being present for my family, thinking about what I actually want my job to look like and where I want to spend my time in my career and then really wanting this movement to just keep climbing, you know, and I want it all to happen today.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, if possible, yeah.
I feel like as long as you guys are keep doing what you're doing at a steady pace, like it's going to happen. You've been operating like this for not even a year and you've already made such incredible progress. Like think of yourself in another 12 months and it might not look like it looked like last year because you are both working this time and you're going on a big holiday and things like that. But I feel like if you just keep doing the initiatives that you're coming up with and like working towards, then there's no reason why it won't take off. You know what I mean? But what does like taking off look like, you know? So it's easy to say you want it to keep going and you want it to get bigger and better and all of that. But what does that actually look like? Because this time last year where you are now is probably what the goal was, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I spoke about this on the event that I did last week. Like at once upon a time, what I'm doing right now was like the massive, like that was the biggest goal I could ever work towards. And now I'm like, it's just every day. It's just my life.
Yeah.
And now next big goal that I'm working on, I know that once I get there, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, easy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're never fully like satisfied, but we're just ambitious, you know?
Yeah. And I think that, you know, and I was talking to a friend about it last night where I said like, I've never been a person to just sit still. Yeah. I've always got 101 ideas happening. But what I've really been able to realize is that the reason why none of what I want is moving forward is because I said that my kids were going to be my priority this year. So every time, you know, I go, oh, let's do another workshop. Like let's, you know, get this organized and do that. And then I'm like, okay, so that's that weekend. I've got this on, I've got this on, I've got this, I've got this. And oh, Brody, I'm going here this day, you know? And then I'm like, that's not what this year was about. So I think, and I'm sure, like you said, there's lots of mums listening to this. Society makes us think that, you know, we need to have the career, we need to have the kids, we need to have the life sorted, and we need to do it gracefully. And I think that really got to me at the end of this year where I was like, oh, I really love being back at work, might I add. I loved being there and all that sort of stuff. But mentally I was just like, why does nothing feel like, it doesn't feel right. Nothing feels right. I feel like I'm trying to do everything and nothing's moving forward. And that's when I went, oh, that's because you said that this was your priority, but you're still trying to figure out what your job's going to look like by the end of the year, what you're going to do in 5 years' time, what's the next thing you're going to do with the movement. And then, you know, the kids come along and the kids love it and all that sort of stuff and they're learning from it. Don't get me wrong. But it can't all happen now.
The change in priorities.
Okay. And that's, I guess that's the message that I'm trying to say is that like, it's okay that your career isn't your priority right now and your kids are. And as much as people might say, you know, you need to go back to work full time, you need to do this, you need to do that. It doesn't have to happen sometimes. Like that, you know. I think that I'm ancient and my time's running out. It's obviously not.
No.
But
and also time goes so fast. Like you think of the year ahead and you're like, fuck, it's such a long way away until like you can rejig your goals or whatever. But it's already almost halfway through April. And term one is done. Like it's going to go so fast. And you might just even taking that pressure off you and reminding yourself of what the focus was for the year and stuff like might open up other opportunities and ways that you can get Bailey's Football Club involved in things and then it kind of intertwines in that or like you guys might have a stall at at like a carnival day or something like that. Like, you know, you can do things like that, fundraising, sausage sizzles and still intertwine it. It might not look like what it did last year or what, you know, you want it to look like, but there's still opportunity there to redo it, like jig it, you know what I mean? Yeah. So what is like the biggest challenge do you think in terms of like being a working mother, trying to be a good wife, like being a good friend, all of that, like obviously time and different priorities and things like that, but what's the biggest challenge? How do you get through it?
I think it's just that stuff is a priority to me, all of those things. So mine would be that like going to the gym is huge for me and most people that know, like that is a part of who I am and I've shared that with many a times that I don't just go to the gym because it's, you know, I get to wear cute active wear and I, you know, it's a fad, it's a part of who I am and it's what like, you know, whether I'm playing touch football back when I was 13 to in a gym now, that connection that I've built with all of those people is so important to me. So that's a big one for me. And then juggling the rest is, I say it to you all the time, like I can't not reach out to my friends and ask how they are. It's just part of who I am, I guess. And sometimes that can be really hard because I know that that's not other people's priorities and I often have to, you know, pull myself back and say like, it's okay if they don't text you back. They're obviously busy. They've got things to do, and that's also okay. And I think that.
And also everyone's on their own journey as well. And like you've gone through a massive like self-discovery moment over the last few years yourself, and people are following along and cottoning onto it and doing it in their own time. So it's like it gets frustrating when people aren't at the same level as you for that. I get that. But otherwise just like super organized household. You've obviously got a very hands-on partner.
So Broads is awesome, and like I said at the beginning, I could not do anything like without him, even to the point last night. So mum had Bailey and I was like to him, I'm going to go to Lizzie's for dinner, and he was like, okay. And I was like, can I go to Lizzie's for dinner? You know, like he doesn't care about any of that stuff. But he rang me on his way home, and I'm terrible. I don't make dinner. Like I'm very lucky he makes dinner. I do the washing and stuff, you know, like I'll look after that. You definitely don't.
I can't say dinner about that.
So like I do all the other things, and you know, we balance each other. But you know, he's been at work all day. I've been at home with the kids, you know, going to the movies, having a great time. He'll get home and go, what's for dinner? I'm like, I could ask you the same.
You tell me, brother.
So yesterday he rings me, he says, what'd you get me out for dinner? Or what'd you get out for dinner? I said, forgot. I'd already bought him a steak and like got potatoes and garlic, and like it was going to be really special for him because I knew I was going. And he just didn't say anything. I said, what? And he goes, I'm just shaking my head. I was like, oh, okay, why? It just fully acted like I didn't know what he's talking about. He's like, but you've been home all day, and because he's so nice, like he won't ever get up me. Like that was me. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like you've been at home all day. Like where's my dinner? And he's like, but you've been at home all day. I'm like, I've been flat out. Righto. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm just shaking my head. All right, see you soon. Love you. Bye. And then he gets home and goes, I can't wait. Oh, Bailey goes, close your eyes, Dad, and like takes him to the fridge, and he goes, I can't wait to cook my own steak, like being sarcastic. And it opened it. I was like, I did get you steak. So I thought I like nailed it. Anyway, he was impressed. So I like made him broccolini and like potatoes and stuff. But
did you make that?
I did, but like I prepared it.
So you didn't make it?
Well, I didn't cook the steak. He cooked the steak.
And the broccolini?
Well, he put that in the fry pan, but I had like pre-boiled it.
Oh, so you are such a great wife,
I nailed that. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, I would not be able to survive without Brody. But yeah, routine is huge. Like, and like you know firsthand that when I had Miles, my perfect idea of a routine got completely squashed and like went to shit. So I've just had to reinvent that new system, but I have to have a system. Life just doesn't work for us if I don't. So me getting up early before the kids wake up is a priority. I have to get up and do that. Doing like one chore before the day starts. Just, you know, those little things that I often see people say, you know, I've got 6 loads of washing to do. And although maybe that works for you at the end of the week, doing 6 loads of washing, for me, just getting up, putting a load of washing on, hanging a load of washing out, coming home, putting it away, that just helps the system flow so much better. And don't ever have mountains and mountains of things to catch up on, whether it's vacuuming the floors before I leave or unpacking the dishwasher. Brody will probably say I don't do that. But, you know, just those really little things that when the day does end, so Brody and I go to separate gyms, we both get home, we pack the kids a snack box and we both go to the gym. The house isn't a mess. So like we can do those things because of that system that I have in place with the kids in the morning.
Is Brody still at Fitstop?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Trader.
Move closer. Thank you.
What was I just going to say? I think also like just your attitude towards everything also helps. Like you're very much just like, it is what it is. This is my reality. I may as well figure out a way to make it work. And I feel like that's such a key piece that people miss sometimes, is that often like you wish things were different for you and like your day and things like that. I wish things were different in my day sometimes. Like everyone feels that way, but the difference is that we just suck it up and get on with it and only focus on what you can control and don't get so worked up about the things that you can't, kind of thing. And I feel like so many people waste so much time and mental capacity dwelling on those things and it stops them from getting anything productive done.
Yeah. And I was thinking about it before I came, like about what we'd talk about and stuff like that, and having this realization that people don't really like things to be hard anymore. And so when things get hard, rather than having the tools and the resources to be able to push through and know that like on the other side of that, things are going to be okay, there's going to be growth, you know, life-changing experiences, we fall to the anxiety, the depression. And I guess when I come back to the movement is that we're trying to help people realize that you can live a happy and fulfilled life. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be hard elements. Like no one ever said that life is going to be easy, whether you have kids, don't have kids, whatever.
Have $1 million, don't have $1 million.
Literally, like life is going to be hard. So why don't we put things in place that are going to help us that when we do hit that roadblock, we can get to the other side of it. And I think it is a mindset thing, but it's not something that you can't develop. Like it's not something that you can't work on and change. If you've always been someone's like, I hate 5 a.m. training, I hate this, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have to stay like that.
Yes.
And being able to put that.
Yeah. And if you hate 5 a.m. training, what about 9 a.m. or the PM or whatever?
Yeah.
Like find a way to make it work.
Or like 6 a.m. but just don't go to the gym, go for a walk and just keep trying something new. Yeah.
Which is what we've spoken about in our 8-week challenges and that we've got I Am Kind movement involved with as well, is like it all stems from the habits that you ingrain in yourself every single day. And like you said, for your training, like that's not something that you do just because you have to train for physical purposes or whatever. It's something that you do for your mindset through being with the community and all that kind of thing, which is obviously people listening from the gym, from Lift HQ will understand as well. Yeah. And that's a lot of their reasons for training too. But like, just creating those habits so that no matter what stage of life you're in, you have these solid habits that you work on and do every day to help you get through it no matter what's going on kind of thing. Yeah. And so like if you had no restrictions, no roadblocks, no like, anything like that at all, what would things look like for I Am Kind movement?
So one of our big goals this year and what we're finding is the roadblock is that schools don't want to pay money for someone to come in and talk about something that should be naturally happening, right? Unfortunately, it's not. And I'll speak on behalf of all teachers. They're flat out. They are so busy, and especially the teachers that are in leadership, they're even busier because they've got to look after not only the kids, but they've got to look after the staff and they've got to keep everybody happy. So we think that what our biggest roadblock there is that people don't want to pay for us to come in. And I'll say this, and we say this all the time. Yes, I Am Kind is a business, but none of the money that we make ever is profitable. It is all for the community. So what we've spoken about is looking at going not for profit.
Oh, nice.
So that then we can get government grants and we can go in. Like we would love to be able to go into a school and, work with any kids. You might have your disengaged kids that really need to see and be taught about gratitude, be taught about how doing kind things for others makes us feel good too. And, work with them for 8 weeks and maybe they do a little project together at the end of it, or we go in and do one-off sessions, or we work with the staff, or because adults need this too. Like, and that's, I think was the biggest thing for us with the movement is that, yes, it started in a school and we work with kids heavily. Yep. This is for adults too. Like we all need it in our lives. It's so easy to look for the things that we don't have instead of appreciate what we do have. And then, you get stuck in that little tunnel. Yeah. But we'd love to be not for profit so that the things that we do, can be government funded and can, we could be doing things once a month if we had the money, but we don't have the money. Yeah. So when we're trying to move forward, we hit that roadblock because we don't have the money. And yes, we put our own money into it, but that's not sustainable and that's not going to last forever. So we need to, rein those things in. And I guess
that's huge. That's cool.
If that could, and anyone listening, if they know how to get into the not-for-profit space, that's been something I've been trying to have conversations with a few different people about becoming not-for-profit. And it's about, we need to get to that point and then we need to apply for grants. But, there's lots of preventative mental health. That's what we're working on. We want the tools and strategies in place before we get to those stages. And there's always government grants and things like that happening. It's just, that's where we need to go. So
have you spoken to Katie Bolter?
No. I know she's been flat out. Kind of just had a baby.
That's one thing. Who, by the way, is the cutest child ever.
Bless,
oh my
so
God.
Sweet.
He's so cute. I don't understand where the dark skin and the beautiful olive features came from because her and Dan are white as. But anyway.
I'm sure, she would definitely.
She'd know people for sure.
Yeah. So hopefully that's our goal. And for anyone that knows how this side of things works, I will not be the one that gets the answers to that. Ellie will be. So thank you very much, Elle, for doing that. But that would be really cool because then there wouldn't be very many restrictions. And whether we're in a school or we're in a sporting club or whatever, you know, you said integrating it into Bailey's, it just sparked my memory the other night. I'm the manager of Bailey's football team.
Add it to the list.
Which I love because I just
so
love
fun.
seeing him out there. It's just so cool.
Yeah.
But I do the role before each thing. And the other day I said, what makes you happy? And, you know, it was just something so simple, but watching how, you know, the first kid was like, well, it was Bailey, so we do this every single day, but he was like, come in a footy. And then the next one was like tackling. And then the next one was like my mom. And, you know, like just seeing them say those things. And it's something so simple. But if we could be out showing this more and more, you know, social media.
The thing is that it is simple. Like it doesn't need to be a convoluted thing. And we've spoken about this before about people journaling or doing gratitude practices and whatever. And it doesn't need to be this convoluted process, because that's when you're more than likely to throw the towel in, when you're busy and don't have as much time. And so even though it is just a little ad lib thing that you're doing with the little boys, like if that continues in their life and is a constant in their life, when they're 13, when they're 14, they're going to have such a bigger appreciation for life and much more respect for people and all that kind of thing. So it's so good, and it is so simple, but it's like such a. And
I honestly think it's life changing. Like I think back to my childhood, and obviously we all have completely different lives and the way we've been brought up and all that sort of stuff. And I just think like I want our kids to know that even when it's hard, we can still live happy lives. Like there are things that we can put into place so that we are happy. And like I think that's just the goal but knowing that with happiness comes hardship and sadness and all those emotions too. And I've said it many times on our social media that people get very confused with, you know, I am kind and the kindness movement and all that sort of stuff, that we don't have negative emotions or that we don't get frustrated or people don't piss us off. Like, that definitely happens.
Yes.
But are we going to sit and worry about it and just sit with it forever? Or are we going to go, oh, yeah, well, look, maybe that person was having a worse day than I am.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, see ya.
That's one of the things that I think about every single day when I have conversations with people or see people react to things or be rude to wait staff or whatever. I'm like, these days I just instantly think like, what's going on in your life for you to be responding like that? You can treat me like shit and you can be rude and nasty to me, but you're actually the problem in this situation. And I feel sorry for them because they're obviously going through a lot to do that. And like even there's I don't know if it's just because I'm more aware of it at the moment or not, but there's so much violence and so much crime and stuff going on, and never ever are you going to make an excuse for people that are being violent and taking part in criminal activity at all. But also, what are they what are they going through to have to do this and to be in a position to do that? Like, what's their life like, kind of thing? I mentioned on my solo episode that I did at the start of the week, but at the CEO Sleep Out event that I went to last Thursday with Jason, literally so cool. He mentioned, I was going to put this on my Instagram story. He mentioned a book, and it was like a leadership based book about 6 weeks to something, or 6 winks or 6 links or something. And I don't know what it was. So if anyone knows, I've tried looking 6 weeks, and it's like 6 weeks to fat loss.
Try that like Blinkist. I'll have a look when we finish here. I've got that like it summarizes books, so you don't have to read the whole thing. As you can imagine, it takes me 6 years to read one book. So like I'm killing it. Have I retained any of the information? Absolutely not. But it's cool. I'll search it. I don't have my phone on me.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know what it was about either. But anyway, it was a leadership thing. Anyway, that event. Oh yeah. So the guy that was another part of it, Matt, I think his name was Matt. He was the one that was homeless, and his family and stuff fell out and all of that. And like, to hear his story, how he had such a normal upbringing, and then it was that his parents' divorce that was the catalyst for it, and then he just intertwined himself into all of these horrible activities and experiences and things like that. Like, but he said like he could be as high as a kite and in like a penthouse apartment on the Gold Coast with so many drugs and like paraphernalia and guns and everything around him, and he would still think about his mum and he would still think about his dad, and it's like, those people are just humans at the end of the day. They're just in obviously a different mindset, different circumstance, all of that. But it put like a real personal spin on it kind of thing. And I feel like people are so quick to, they're just junkies or like they're just this or that. But they're actually humans at the end of the day. And it doesn't excuse what they're doing, breaking into things, hurting people, all that kind of thing. But it does make you think a bit differently about it.
And I remember at the end of last year, I was reading Brene Brown's Dare to Lead book or listening to one of her podcasts, and it was actually her very last podcast that she was doing. And the last part that she said is that when you are dealing with someone like that, that's frustrating you and all that sort of stuff, have a think to yourself and say, are they doing the best with what they have? Mm-hmm. Because if we approach people with that mindset, then, you know, maybe that is all they have to give you today. And I know that like has been a game changer for me, especially even with my like closest friends, because I don't know what's going on in someone's day. Like I might text someone now and they've had the shittest day ever. The last thing they want to do is text me and say, hey babe, I'm having a sick day. Like, no, like, so being able to use that, frame. And then when you use it with the wider community, it does. And another thing, like with how we're talking about doing shorter journaling and that sort of stuff, like it doesn't have to be huge. I just read the Daily Stoic. Half the words I can't even read.
You're telling me that you're reading a lot here.
Well,
two books.
It's not a book. It's an email and it's about that big. But it's like, it's all I need and there's such power. Yeah. Okay. Get off my back. No, so like it's really short but they relate it. So obviously it was way back when they're talking about it. It's back
I don't know what it is.
The Daily Stoic.
No.
So it's like I'm going to try and explain this and I'm probably going to butcher it. It's like philosophy from like all the like emperors and stuff back in the day and the way that so when someone says you have like a stoic mindset, it's like you're like hard, can push through hard things, you know, you show up, you know that there's difference in the world, all that sort of stuff. So they will talk about what it was like back then, but then they relate it to today. And the one the other day was about there is always going to be bad people, there's always going to be good people, but are you like, what choice are you going to make? Because are you going to be part of the problem? Are you going to be on the other side of it?
Solution.
So, and it just is all about mindset, isn't it? Like if, you know, and I use this example at the gym, if someone cuts you off in traffic, yes, it's annoying. Yes, it sucks, but we're all going to the same place. Maybe that person just needed to get there. Like does that really need to be the next thing that you think about for the next hour or, you know, even further? So yeah. And again, things annoy me and like my students at school watch all of my videos and stuff and tease me constantly about the shit that I post. And the one in particular is being unbothered because they bother me a lot. And like the year 12s, for any teachers out there, you will know they just do whatever they want. And so my year 12s will like just rock up into one of my classes. And I'm like, what are you
like
doing here?
Through?
Yeah, like another year 12 class. I'll just rock up. I'm like, why are you here? And they're like, oh, we missed you. And I'm like, no, like I don't miss you, please like go. And then they'll just be there. And then my heart starts racing because I'm like, oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. They're not supposed to be here. And they're going, you look pretty bothered to me, you know, so, but they watch and they see and hopefully they'll take something out of it one day.
Absolutely. And so like kind of along those lines as well, you get Bailey involved every day still?
Yeah. So I just did a thing with him the other day. And again, thank you, Ellie, for creating this for me. But he watches me journal and he's starting to write. He's in prep, so he loves writing and he's like really loving seeing, you know, that success and seeing him achieve stuff. So what I've been doing for him is in the morning we write what are you looking forward to. And so I'll write 3 things for him and then he copies it. And then at the end of the day, he does his gratitude. What I've got Elle to create for me is like an A3 sheet and now I can write it in a whiteboard marker and we can rub it out.
Yeah.
So again, it just says what emotion are you feeling and then he can circle it. Then I write what he's looking forward to. He copies it. He can circle his gratitude and then we have what's something kind you did today and what's something good that happened.
And so how long did that take?
Oh, well, obviously because he's learning to write, it takes a little bit longer, but it doesn't have to take long because I can literally say to him, mate, this is what we're doing today. What are you excited about? And then he'll go, you know, I had to go to the chiropractor yesterday. He goes, Mummy, getting her back fixed so she can play footy with me. Everything is footy at the moment. But, you know, we talk about those positive things and
that could be something that you do for people listening, like in the car on the way to kindy, on the way to school, on the way home or while you're cutting up veggies for dinner or whatever.
And we do like hands in before we leave every morning and we go, okay, well, what are we saying today? And he might say like, I'm going to be brave and go to the office because like I have to drop him off because I've got to go to work. But yeah, just those little things.
And that would have a flow-on effect to you and your day, seeing him be part of that. And like, even if you're having like an irritated morning or whatever, like finishing that moment at home with something like that is huge for you as well.
Yeah. Oh, and like, don't get me wrong. I have my blowouts where he's annoying me and he's not getting ready or he's ginning around or whatever. But yeah, just stop for a minute. and that saying where everyone says everyone's doing this for the first time. So this is his first time at trying to go to school. It's my first time being a mum with a kid at school. So, but it is super, it makes me really proud when he'll tell me things that like he's done at school. So like him and his mate alternate between who's going to get sad before they go into the classroom like every day. I don't know what it is, but it's not on purpose. It just happens that way.
Like, I thought you meant
I'm
there,
the other kid will get sad. No, and then if I'm not there, then Bailey will get sad. Like it just seems to be that they rotate. But like when you see it, like as the parent, like Bailey will grab the other little boy and say, "Come on, we'll be brave," and like we'll go, or like he'll say it to Bailey, and it's just you just see it in those really little moments, and you just hope that like doesn't ever go. Like I don't ever want him to, and that's obviously us. Like we role model that behavior to him. And sometimes it is hard, and it's okay for them to see that you're angry and you're frustrated. But then talk about it. With it. And if anyone knows me, I fly off the handles at Bailey all the time for like the littlest things. But I'll always apologize. Run a tight ship. And I do. But I'll always apologize if I make the wrong decision. Like he took a stick off a little boy the other day, and I thought he snatched it off him because the parent went over and like gave it back, and I went over. I'm like, "Did you take that stick off him?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "We don't." And he was like, "I didn't want him to get hurt." And then I was like, "Oh God, damn it." So then like he started bawling his eyes out. I wanted to bawl my eyes out because I'm like, and I just said like, "I'm really sorry, mate. Like I shouldn't have come at you like that." Like, and you do like we make mistakes. They need to know that. And then he got in the car. I dropped him to my mum's house, and he said, "Mummy yelled at me today," and she said sorry because she shouldn't have yelled at me. And I thought, oh God, I'm just going to tell everybody. They remember it all.
That's so funny. I was laughing with one of my friends the other day because we were at my friend Erin's house at the start of the year, and she's got a pool, and it's got like some boulders like around the outside, just like landscaping. And the girls, so our friend, like our school friends that we're friends with still, there's 4 or 5 girls that are all around the same age, and 3 or 4 anyway. Kelsey and Kieran, they run a tight ship at their house, right? And very regimented and very disciplined. They're both incredible athletes. Like they're very disciplined. I'm doing HIIT games tomorrow. Kelsey's doing the Fittest 4, and two of her teammates are Torian Pro.
Oh, perfect.
Torian Pro athletes. So that's just a difference. Anyway, Kelsey's little girl, all the little girls are jumping off the rock into the pool, and then Kelsey's little girl was like, Mom, can I jump off the rock? And Kelsey was like, I beg your pardon? And she's like, Mom, can I jump off the rock into the pool? And Kelsey's like, I can't hear you. And my friend and I were like, is she actually joking? She can't hear her. And then her little girl comes over and she's like, Mom, can I jump off the rock? And she was like, what do you say? And she's like, please. And Kelsey's like, yeah, of course you can. And I was like, Kelsey, don't make her say please. Can I jump off the rock?
Absolutely. Manners are free, especially at our house. I don't even have to say anything. Like if Bailey says, can I have this? It's just radio silence. And then you just hear Bailey go, can I please have this? Like you don't even have to say it in our house. But, they make mistakes. They're learning still.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so good. Did you want to chat about anything else?
No.
Anything else you want to cover?
I think no. I think it's just like probably just want to say how awesome this is.
Oh,
and what
it's fun,
you're doing. Yeah. I thought about it. I texted you and said, I'm so nervous, blah, blah, blah. I thought I'm literally get to go and be a part of something that you have wanted to do for so long. Yeah, so literally. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. You're my first guest.
I know. Aaron was the first guest. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Cyclone, for stuffing up me being the first.
Yeah, we've been trying to do this for a long time. But part of the reason why it's taken so long is because Aaron will not loosen the reins on showing me how to record. And I said to him, just show me. And he's like, it's really hard.
Yeah, and remember last time we did something together and you didn't press record and then I had to go home and record myself for an hour talking to the laptop.
It's happened numerous times on those challenges.
So probably not best for us to be left alone when it comes to technical things.
What are you up to this weekend?
This weekend it's my dad's birthday, so I'm going to pick up Miles after this. We're going to go back up to Bribey. Actually, Ellie and I are climbing a mountain tonight. It's one of our it's one of our bingo card things is to climb a mountain at night. Yeah. So she reckons that when when you get to the top of the mountain, it's like daylight. Like you don't need a torch or anything.
What time are you doing
stars.
Oh, what?
I don't know, 8 o'clock.
No, no.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Just Naganya. Is that how you say it? Naganya.
Yeah, but also it's not lit.
Ellie reckons, and I believe her.
Ellie is a freak. Also, there's someone that might be listening to this that has a very, very, very close connection to Ned Brockman. So if that is you, Mr.
Don't
hook us up. Well, hook Ellie and Emily up.
We are obsessed.
Yeah, I don't want to
like emailed to see if he could come out and be a spokesperson at school.
Yeah,
and they said like he's just so busy with Ned's Uncomfortable Challenge like coming up. Obviously, he's doing his like milk runs and stuff. And they said, but if
did he do one in Brisbane?
Not yet. He hasn't done it yet. So he did like New South Wales, and then he's going to come here. But it said that they said, but if your school signs up, he is going to choose a school to like come out and talk at. And I'm like, oh my God.
Are you going to do it?
Well, I don't know, because like I want to do it through school, but because we're already doing it through the movement, like we've got to be really careful with the stuff that we do, like conflict of interest, all that sort of stuff. So I don't want to cross the two and like not be able to give them both the same amount of energy. And because we're Catholic school, we already have lots of things that we support and give back to. So I just don't want to add another thing. But I will sleep in the car park waiting for his milk run just to.
Where will he do it? Kangaroo Point?
He did it Kangaroo Point last time.
Oh, he's already been here.
He did, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That was like, that was the first sort of thing he did before Ned's Uncomfortable Challenge.
Did you go?
No, because I like didn't know him.
Oh.
Like I didn't, well, to be fair, I think I was pregnant.
Oh yeah, that one, that roadblock.
yeah, that would have like very pregnant actually, when I think about it. But I think, that's right, because Brody's friends, Braden and Matt, like love him.
Yeah.
Well, like love running and follow him. And they did it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And then I was like, oh my God, that's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Miles would have been
just
or like, nearly due. Yeah. So, but this time, and like so many people when he like posted it were like messaging us being like, are you guys going? Are you guys going? Like, yes, absolutely.
Ellie has to wear like a veil or something.
Something like she can buy the ring
make
and
a
everything.
Sign.
We just needs to happen. Just make it happen. That's all it needs to be.
Okay, well, if that person, I won't name drop, but if that person is listening, he said that he would listen to my podcast episodes. Nice. But if you are, help us out.
And like, we're not just obsessed with him as a runner, but just as a person.
Yeah.
And the message that he shares.
Yes.
His milk was on the ground the other day and I made a kid pick it up and was like, do you know who that is? He was like, no. And I was like, okay, sit down. Had like full blown conversation with him about Ned Brockman. I was like, okay, now go and gently tip that milk out and put it in the bin.
It's psychotic. Let's just pause here for a sec. Aaron.
45 is good for us.
Well, Joe Rogan does like 2 hours, 3 hours kind of thing.
I could easily see us sitting here for 2 or 3 hours.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
One day. So got some hot seat questions for you just to wrap it up on a quick note, fun note. What would you rather, unlimited time or unlimited money?
Shit, that's a hard one.
5, 4.
I'm going to say money.
Same. Would you rather relive the best day of your life or skip to the future?
Oh, is that like, but I get to create.
Okay, you don't get to ask questions.
Okay,
5. Okay.
I've got lots of best days in my life, but
would you rather be the funniest or the smartest person in the
funniest? Because let's be honest, the smartest is not happening.
Literally. As I was reading that, I was like, well, I know the answer. Oh, but same.
Yeah.
Would you rather lead a group or support from behind the scenes?
Oh, nah, lead a group.
Definitely. What's a moment in your life that changed you? One moment.
I think, like, obviously saying my kids is a big one, but
aside from the obvious.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that having kids changed me. I don't really feel like I've changed. I feel like my life has changed, but I don't feel like me as a person has changed. I definitely think a friendship breakdown is what changed me. Mm-hmm. And, you know, someone that you thought knew everything about you, you knew everything about them, and then all of a sudden that just completely ended. But, you know, these things happen and that's life and we just move on. And like I take lots of lessons from that and try to be better every day. And that's.
And if that friendship hadn't broken down, then you wouldn't have learnt those lessons and you wouldn't be the person that you are today doing the things that you're doing. So although it sucks and it's heartbreaking and sometimes you wish that things were different, you are the person that you are because of everything that's happened in your past. So what is a food combo that you love that most people find weird?
Everyone bags me out because I only eat meat and cheese on a McDonald's burger or a Hungry Jack's burger. I don't get sauce.
What do you mean?
I don't get salad. I just get meat and cheese only. That's what I asked for. It's called plain.
That is very beige. So wait, on a cheeseburger,
it's just meat and cheese, no sauce. No, I've actually like matured a little bit, and I get a little bit of tomato sauce and a little bit of onion.
Oh my God,
but nothing on a Hungry Jack's burger, just meat and cheese, and it has to be melted.
That is fucking weird.
If Kelly DeWedger listens to this, she'll be like, yep, that immature child taste bud that she has.
Same. She used to tease me about it all the time. Are you seeing her tomorrow?
Yeah.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we went to Bali, we were in like this nice place, and I'm like looking at the menu, and I go to the person, have you got anything that's steak and potato?
Do you have any chicken nuggets?
Literally it came out. It was the best thing I've ever eaten, but like I just didn't understand the menu, and it was just steak and potato. It was awesome.
I can't judge you. I'm a boring eater as well. Like food can't touch.
Taste buds. I don't even put like salt and pepper on my food. That's why Brody doesn't let me cook, because I'm awful. Yeah. Well, I'm doing nutrition coaching with Emily. Oh yeah. And she was like, do you put any salt on your food? And I was like, no, not really. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, one more question is, if you could give yourself younger advice, if you could give your younger self advice, what would it be? Don't lose the spark. Like I feel like when I was a kid, and maybe at times it came off that I didn't give a shit about anyone, but I was very confident in who I was. I knew that I was a good person. I knew that I was competitive. I knew I was outspoken and all that sort of stuff. And I like to think back to that person. I don't have any regrets of who I was as a child. Yeah. So to just not lose that, that confidence, and that I don't even think the word is confidence. I think it's just I was completely myself. Yeah, confidence within yourself of who you were. Yeah. When I was at this event last Friday, one of the ladies in the crowd asked how what responsibility I have or take on for influencing and being a good example for younger girls. And it was very my answer was actually very similar. Is like, I just want them to know that it's okay to be who they are. Like, stay so strong with who you are, be so like grounded and confident in what you want in life and who you want to be and who you want to surround yourself with and what your values and morals are, so that you're never derailed from that. Because there was definitely a period in my earlier 20s where I was being influenced by so many people around me. Luckily, not for very long. Like I came to. Yeah. Honestly, when I met Aaron, he pulled me out of that. But I think it's easy for younger generations to lose sight of who they are because of all the peer pressure and things like that. And I say that to the kids often. I say, if you have to change who you are for these people, are they actually your people? Yeah. And it is very hard to navigate with the kids, and you've got to put yourself in their shoes. Because to them, you're just an old person who doesn't know what you're talking about. And I try and put myself in their shoes, and often, say, I get it. You don't want that judgment. You don't want this. And now you got social media. So now everyone's going to know about it, and XYZ. Let's not get on our high horse here and talk about that. But it's just be who you are. And the one thing that I do say, and I've said this to kids quite often lately, is who are the people that add value in your life? Because if there's other people making comments about you, spreading rumors, doing whatever, but you wouldn't even give them a second chance in the real world, don't worry about it, because they're not your people. It's the ones that, if your best friend's saying, hey, switch on, like you're not being a very good person, then fair shit, she or he adds value to you. So you listen, but the people that, talking shit about everybody, like, don't listen to what they're saying. Yeah. So just be who you want to be. Yeah. And make mistakes. We all do. Yeah. And also another thing, not that many kids are going to listen to this at all, but for parents to take to their kids, like, life goes on past school. Like, it is the start of your life when you leave school. Yeah. And so although it seems shit at the time, there's so much more ahead of you. Yeah. And see, it's so hard. Like, I struggle sometimes with the kids and the way that they say how much they dislike school, because I loved school. Like, it was my favorite time. Yeah, like, it was just my favorite time of my life. And I think, and I say to the kids often, I think you're doing it wrong. If you don't love this time of your life where, like, you can do not literally whatever you want, I'm like, you're doing it wrong. It's not meant. Yeah. And if and I say to the kids, that's why I'm a teacher, because I just love that so much. I love those teachers that gave me the time of day. And, there's no teacher that I can think, like, that I didn't like, and they probably didn't like me. Like people say about me in a staff meeting now, like I don't shut up. They would have hated to teach me as a kid.
Yeah.
But there's no one that I can think of that I'm like, oh God, I hated that person. I just didn't ever have that. So yeah, if I can,
that's good.
be yourself when you're here. You don't have to, But it is hard, and I do, that is something that we're trying to navigate. That like school is hard now. It's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same, and we do have to adapt, and we do have to think like them. Yeah. Because they are trying to navigate that. So, which is scary.
I would hate to be back at school these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with social media.
Yeah. And trying to teach kids the right way to use it. Like us as adults, we're still trying to navigate that, right? Like, so imagine a 13-year-old trying to impress someone or whatever.
I even see like, not so much people's like body and stuff, which I know is a big thing for teenagers, unfortunately, but like I always go into comparison traps on social media. So I can only imagine what impressionable teenage girls comparison trap looks like.
Do you know what's really funny though? We did a workshop down at Trinity College with a friend that I used to play touch with, and one of the activities that they did was about drawing today's ideal body. And like for me, I thought like skinny, bit of a bum, ripped abs, all that sort of stuff. But all of them did like curvy body with a big bum, like all that sort of stuff. And I thought, God,
that's
how much has that changed over time? Yeah, like it was so nice and refreshing to see that their idea of perfect was not
what it used to be.
That's
so good.
And I say this often. I say it is changing. Like there are so many more influencers and things like that out there that are talking about positive eating habits and eating to fuel and all that sort of stuff. We didn't have any of that when we were kids. Like,
it was the less you ate, the better.
Literally, and get running. Like that was the
cardio.
The motto. So it is changing, but it is still a scary thing. That's the life that the kids want to live now. So like they're not really too concerned about what the people look like, but the way they live. And like you do have your positive influences that show that life, but then there's always going to be that flip side that the kids fall into.
I see kids at Chermside and like Maya and her friends and stuff, like the effort that they put into their presentation and stuff, and I'm like, okay, first of all, it's frustrating because I'm like, put in some effort, but also I'm like, it's so good that you don't care about all of the things that we had to care about as kids. Like I like that you're just wearing a hoodie and jeans to Chermside, or you've just thrown your hair up in a messy bun. Like that's great.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like there's a time and place for it, but it's great that they don't care. You know, like Maya was going to an 18th or a 21st the other night, and I was like, do you want me to do your makeup? And she's like, I don't really wear makeup. And I'm like, that's fantastic.
Yes. But see, like for me, I didn't care. Like I don't even, like I did shave my legs, but it was like, are we going out this weekend? Okay, I'll shave my legs. I'll go around to my mate's place. We'll shave our legs together. Like it was, I didn't actually care about the stuff, and I'd rock up to school every day with my hair in a messy bun.
Yeah.
Like, but yes, I totally get what you're saying. Like it's the jeans with like the low cut where your whole tummy's out. Like, oh my God, I would never. Like,
but good on them for having the confidence.
Doing it. Yeah, like I love that so much, and I love that the more they see the influencers doing it, that are the curvy girls,
normal people.
And I just think that that's so awesome that they have that. But then there's also still the side that we still need to teach them how to use it properly.
Yes.
I think that the influencers are doing a good job, like most are, but the kids still just don't get it. And we don't. Yeah. It's like the texting thing that I said. You text someone, say, hey, how are you? You don't hear from them for 3 days. We're not friends. Life's over. Everyone, we're cancelled. That's not it. They're just going through something. So trying to teach that to a child.
Yeah.
I often have conversations with my year 12s about what they think I should do with Bailey, and I just love to see their perspective. Like I told them that Bailey wasn't going to have a phone in high school, and they were like, oh, what if he gets kidnapped? And I was like, well, he's not going to be calling me, is he? And they're like, oh, okay. And then they're like, what if he gets hit by a car? I'm like, oh, hey, Mum, I'm just underneath the wheels. Like, can you come and get me? I'm like, again, not going to call me. I'm like, you're not helping me here. And then they're like, what if he gets bullied? And I'm like, no, just for a couple of hours while he's at school. I'll look after him at home. Like, so, they're like, you're so strict and whatever.
I was talking to two mums the other day, and they said that they gave their little girls that are in the same grade, they gave them 3315s or like old school Nokias to use. And they're like, the kids like sitting there like
playing
texting.
Snake.
Like,
not playing Snake?
No, I don't know. But like, texting on like each keypad thing.
Yeah, that's great.
Funny. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining me. The camera's turned off again, so I'm not sure what's happening there, but we can at least put a logo on with the audio. But thanks so much.
Thank you. And again, I'm so proud of you. I love to be a part of this. I love to be a part of everything that you do. So being in here and knowing how much work's gone into it, it's awesome.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you. And Ellie, you guys are onto a great thing. And I feel like it's just the beginning and things might look different than how they looked last year, but doesn't mean that you're not doing good. So good on you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No worries. Bye.